Welcome to the NFC South Roundtable, a weekly live show featuring top-tier insight and analysis on all things NFC South. From the best creators in the division, including Atlanta Falcons creator Berto, Carolina Panthers creator Clay, New Orleans Saints creator TJ, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers creator James. Catch the NFC South Roundtable every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on the NFC South Roundtable YouTube channel. NFC South Roundtable, welcome back into another episode. Of course, as always, we got an excellent show here for you guys to break down everything that happened in Week 8 and what these guys think is going to happen, of course, in Week 9. Man, unfortunately, we do have our guy James out for the episode today. We'll be seeing him next week, but we got our guy Evan in the chat, man, who, hey, James has had glowing things to say about you, and so we know that you are going to bring the fire here today. And we're excited to hear what you have. And of course, we got Berto back in the building today. Didn't have you last week, Berto. Everybody thought you were running away. Everybody thought you were running away.
Hell
kind of
no,
flaming
man.
in the chat, but we said, no. Berto's not running. Berto is just doing some things. He'll be back next week.
Got it.
And you know what?
Life,
you stayed true to your word. You stayed true to your word, baby, and you're back. 5 lives, exactly. So one down, you got 4 more call-outs before you're done. So just
I don't anticipate no more call-outs this year, bro. I'll be here
you get 4 more call-outs and then you're done. 4 more call-outs, but let's go around the table and let's see how these guys are doing. Evan, our guy, you are number 1 here in the NFC South, so we'll go with you first. How you doing? How you feeling about the Buccaneers now heading into Week 9?
I think, at the bye week 6-2, with the amount of injuries that they've had so far, I think you have to be feeling pretty good. And I mean, the offense obviously has been a big story for the entire season, really. Baker Mayfield and the MVP discussion and this and that. But lately, the past 2 weeks, the offense hasn't really been that good. And actually, at one point, the Bucs had gone 6 quarters where the offense only scored 9 points. So offense picked up a little bit in the second half against New Orleans there. But I think, with the injuries they've had, you have to be pretty happy with 6-2 and to be able to get another divisional win right before that break where hopefully, you're going to be getting some guys healthy because after that bye week, you got a tough stretch. I mean, you got New England and then you got the Bills and then the Rams. So that's a pretty tough stretch there. So I think sitting at 6-2 with what they've had to deal with on the offensive side of the ball, losing Mike Evans, getting Mike Evans back, losing him again, and then not having Bucky Irving, not having Chris Godwin, Emeka Egbuka getting a little bit banged up. Baker Mayfield, I'm not 100% convinced that he's 100% healthy. So it definitely looks like a guy who might be hampered by something right now. So, yeah, being at 6-2 right now with what they've had to deal with, I think is a pretty good spot to be in, all things considered.
Absolutely. It feels like every year you guys get kind of bit by that injury bug at the most inopportune moments, but you still find a way to win. And that is definitely a testament to just how good you guys are. And of course, that coaching staff too. But Clay, let's go on over to you. Okay, you've been sky high. Got Brock back down to earth here a little bit. Where are you feeling, man? I mean, again, we knew where you were at in the beginning of the season. You were down bad. You were given a lot of constructive criticism to your team, and rightfully so. You go on this winning streak. You face Buffalo. Obviously, Bryce Young doesn't play. You guys get Brock back down to earth. Where's your mindset now?
Yeah, in the words of Eminem, snap back to reality. I mean, the streak's over. I mean, my optimism took a bit of a hit, but not to a point where I'm going to be like overreacting. I mean, it was a good reminder of where we really stand. I mean, this is a team that, we were talking, me and Berto were talking backstage, like this is like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. I mean, I feel like the Atlanta and Carolina right now are kind of like the same team with what's going on. It's weird, but you can't make this stuff up, man. You just can't.
No, you definitely can't. And Berto, I think Clay is kind of screaming some of the same things that we're going to hear from you because, I mean, we talked about this all season long. You guys go out there and you lose to an opponent that you should be able to beat, but then you go out there and you beat the Buffalo Bills. You get this momentum win and you move forward, but then you get clapped by the Miami Dolphins and Bijan Robinson does nothing against one of the worst run defending units in the NFL. And so where's your head at and where do you guys go moving forward?
Brother, being a Falcon fan is not for the weak at heart, man. Definitely you got to have fucking a heart made of iron, man, in order to be a fan, brother. Going into this game, confidence was, I would say, was a little bit higher than usual, right? Coming off of a loss And it will, coming off emotional wins against Buffalo, coming off that 49ers loss, then coming against the Dolphins, we felt like, all right, we can have this as a get back game, but it just did not happen. We were dominated, man. This was horrible. This coaching staff has to get their heads out their asses, man, and see what they have. The talent that we have for us to perform the way that we did against the Dolphins is inexcusable, man. Zach Robinson, man, I know he's a thorn on the side of many of us Falcon fans. And Raheem did this to us, bringing him in. This is a kid that has never called a play or a game after last year being such a first-time play caller, and then this year it looks like he's taking step backwards versus going ahead of the curve with talents like Bijan and Drake London and company. It was just a bad overall performance, man. There's no reason why we should have lost to the Dolphins in the fashion that we did, man.
Yeah, of course, absolutely agree. And TJ, let's go on over to you, man. I mean, obviously, another loss, got a quarterback change there. Spencer Rattler felt like he was building that momentum and then comes back down to earth, ultimately gets benched. But that's just kind of the narrative, it feels like, for the Saints this year. What are your kind of thoughts and opinions now heading into week 9?
Well, I mean, it was time for a change. And, I mean, the Saints are kind of similar to my internet connection tonight. Straight trash. I mean, it is what it is at this point, man. Right now, you got to see what Tyler Shuck is as a quarterback so you can make the right decision. As of right now, the Saints have the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 draft. So you got to figure out who is your franchise quarterback. Is he in the building, or do you need to go evaluate this draft and try to bring somebody in that can provide a spark? Because right now, the New Orleans Saints have absolutely nothing to write home about offensively at all. So let's see what he can do.
Absolutely. And guys, I think this is about time where we transition on into these games that occurred here in week 8. But before we do so, want to give a quick shout out to one of the sponsors of today's video over at Sleeper. Use the promo code you see on the screen, RTS, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. They are currently operational in over 25 states. But check out Sleeper today. Link in description box below. And Berto, you're finally back, man. We missed you last week, and so you know what? We're gonna kick on over the parlay for this week. Here over to you. Also because that's the only one that's coming up on Sleeper right now. But it's also because we missed you, Berto. It's also because we missed you. But
it's a setup.
It is a complete setup.
Oh, it's a setup. If James was here, James would have called it out. There he goes again.
It looks like you're going to have to do it this week, Berto. You're going to have to be James for the week.
Let's do it.
But looking at Bijan Robinson, what do you think about anytime touchdown? Obviously, this is a New England Patriots defense that's top 3 in defending the run.
Right. Yeah. You know what? Bijan, the incredible talent that he is, we thought that sparks can fly against the Dolphins, and there was nothing. There's barely an ignition to a fire, man. I would not count on Bijan scoring this Sunday, man. I'm sorry to say that. As a true Falcon fan, they left you like on a cliffhanger. Like, what's next? This Falcons offense, dude, it pisses me off so bad that we're so underperforming the way that we are. Bijan is he's a unicorn, man. He's a generational talent, and for him to be being wasted the way that he is right now by this Falcons team is inexcusable, man. So I don't think he scores on Sunday, man. I'm sorry, man.
Now, what do you think about Drake London and potential for him to get a touchdown? Because they do have him here on Sleeper for anytime touchdown. This is a Patriots secondary that does struggle a little bit. Now, they are top 5 in points allowed defensively, so they don't allow a whole lot of points. But especially early on, that secondary does struggle.
It's tough to call, Drake was a late addition to the injury report. Was it Saturday night? And then Sunday morning we wake up and he's inactive for the game. We don't know what the status for Drake going into Sunday's game, although Raheem in his very vague responses saying, oh, these guys should be, day to day or trending in the right direction. We won't get any indication as to Drake's services on Sunday. But even if he does play, it's a tough 1v1 against Christian Gonzalez. Even Carlton Davis, both cornerbacks are playing really well for the New England Patriots. Will they have opportunities? There might be, but even if Drake dresses, man, it's just going to be too much, man. I just don't see it happening, man.
And let's quick going over to the final bet here. And I kind of want to talk about the Falcons defense here for a second. What do you think about Kayshon Boutte, the New England Patriots wide receiver with anytime touchdown? He's had 4 touchdowns over the last 3 weeks, at least 1 touchdown in each of the last 3 weeks. So he's on a bit of a heater. Do you trust your secondary to be able to prevent them there in the end zone?
We've done so far a pretty decent job at limiting the explosive play. That's anything over the corners' heads. And, right now, Mike Hughes and AJ Terrell have done a terrific job. I think they can still do so and keep at bay Kayshon Boutte and his hot streak of touchdowns. So I'll take the Falcons secondary on this one.
All right, nice. Love it. Guys, let us know what you think about these lines in the comment section below, and make sure you guys follow us over there on Sleeper, link in the description box below. But let's transition on back here to these games. And of course, we have to start out with the big in-division game that occurred this past week. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, of course, blowing out the New Orleans Saints 23-3. Evan, let's start with you. How are you guys able to pull out this victory in such a dominant manner?
Well, I think we say dominant, right? Talking about the defensive side of things, right? Because to me, that's where it starts. The Bucs offense still has been struggling as of late, as I mentioned earlier, and it was time for the defense to pick things up, and they definitely did that. I mean, start off early, first drive. Only a couple plays in, you force a fumble there. The Bucs get the ball right back. Offense doesn't really do much with it, and really for the entire first half, the offense didn't do much. And literally, the offense got the ball on the 1 yard line and had technically 5 chances, because on first and goal, the Saints were called for an offside penalty, had 5 chances from the 1 yard line to punch it in and failed to do so. It was a dreadful offensive first half for the Bucs. So the defense was there to pick things up, and ended up being 4 turnovers in this game, including obviously Anthony Nelson with a massive pick 6 there, which really changed that game. I mean, that was literally right after, right? That was the very next series after the Bucs had failed to score from the 1. So that sort of changed things, and it's funny, that's how the Bucs score a touchdown, not from the 1 yard line, being able to punch it in. And they also had struggled later in the game for the offensive side of the ball to punch it in. Finally were able to do so on 4th and goal. And I think after that had happened, I think they were able to breathe a little bit, sort of that anxiety of, oh man, we've been really struggling to score in the red area. We've gotten the ball this close so many times and we can't do it. I think once they did finally break through there, they could just settle down and play their game. Defense forced a couple more turnovers there. Honestly, should have had another defensive touchdown. I'm not going to lie, right at the end of the second half there, or the first half, I should say. There's a whistle blown, apparently. I don't hear a whistle. Nobody heard a whistle. The announcers didn't hear a whistle. The broadcast sort of showed the replay, didn't have anything but the game audio. I don't hear anything. I really don't. I don't know why that play was blown dead there. Then the offense not able to do much. So, yeah, the story of that game was just really suffocating defense by the Buccaneers. I know the Saints have struggled on offense, but they're a scrappy bunch, right? When you look at it, coming into this game, I believe 3 of their 6 losses were by 1 score. So it's not like they were getting blown out in every single game. And, this is a divisional game on the road, and the Bucs went in there and they ended up taking care of business. So I think really it's the defense. That's the big story of this one.
Damn, there we go. Damn it, TJ, you took over behind the scenes, man. Come on. We've talked about this, man. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, but yeah, no, Evan, I completely agree with you there. We've talked about so many times on the show that the New Orleans Saints have played a whole lot better than what their record has said. Obviously, this past week, it did get a little bit more away from them from what we're used to maybe seeing. And before we get on into Clay and we get on into Bert, so I do want to get the other half of this conversation. I want to kick this one down to TJ. TJ, you kind of alluded to what your feelings are after week 8 and heading into week 9, but break down for us a little bit more what went wrong in here. And more specifically, I want you to tell us what went wrong with Spencer Rattler, because it felt like he was stacking weeks and putting things together, and then all of a sudden everything just falls and he gets benched. What led to that?
Well, I think it's a combination of a couple things. Last week versus the Chicago Bears, you had the whole narrative about Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams. And we all know about the story, what happened at the University of Oklahoma, where Caleb Williams ended up being a starter. Spencer Rattler gets benched, has to go to South Carolina to finish off his collegiate career. To me, I feel like that kind of played a role in how he tried to play that game. I think he wanted to try to outplay Caleb Williams. And I think that's where you kind of saw that South Carolina aggressive approach that made him actually who he has been, a little bit of a gunslinger and a risk taker. And, he's a guy that's a fighter. He has scrap. He's gritty, but sometimes he doesn't make the right decision. And sometimes he can get a little loose with the football, as we've seen in a game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I just think that the bottom just started to fall out. Last week, once again against Chicago, he had 4 turnovers, and in the game versus Tampa, he had 2 turnovers. I mean, 6 turnovers in the last 2 weeks. And when you are a quarterback and you're not a top 2, round quarterback or first round pick, top 5 quarterback, I mean, you got a short leash. And everything that Spencer Rattler was doing was on a week by week basis. To me, the New Orleans Saints were just trying to find a way and a reason to be able to justify him being benched. I mean, what is going on going forward was inevitable. I mean, the New Orleans Saints were going to go to Tyler Shuck eventually. To me, Spencer Rattler just played well enough for them not to be able to justify it. But over the last couple of weeks, they did. The New Orleans Saints, plain and simple, they're just not a good football team, man. They're not a good football team. They're undisciplined. The plays are vanilla. There are really no playmakers on the offensive side of the football. You got Alvin Kamara. To me, I feel like the offense is not catered to his strengths. Kellen Moore sometimes looked like a deer lost in headlights. And, I agree with what Evan said. Man, this game should have been a blowout early in the first half. I mean, Antoine Winfield Jr. got screwed out of a touchdown. I'm just going to call it for what it is. He was screwed. And also he was screwed out another touchdown in the second half. I don't know if it was Vegas that made that call or a ref that made that call. I mean, I really don't know. But all in all, man, look, I don't care who the quarterback is. I really don't. Like, it can be Tyler Shuck. It can be Spencer Rattler. They're pretty much the same guy when it comes to this offense. I had a picture that a lot of people probably seen. It's a meme of Spider-Man pointing to another Spider-Man. They basically are the same guy. If you look at the stats, they're pretty much identical. And it's going to be the same way until the New Orleans Saints figure out what they're going to do, as a unit. But credit to the defense. The defense came, they stepped up. They made it very difficult for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense to do anything at all. It took a lot of 50-yard field goals to kind of stretch this game out. But other than that, I mean, the offense was trash. And honestly, at some parts of the game, I didn't know if I was watching an actual football game or a damn comedy show. I mean, Juwan Johnson, that drop that he had at like late in the game, I mean, had me rolling on the floor laughing. I mean, this team is so unserious right now. Like, how can you possibly take them serious, to be honest? I mean, it is what it is. Oh, you're muted, Kobe.
Bro, what is going on with my damn soundboard? Oh, my gosh. It's like breaking, randomly goes on mute. But, Clay, let's go on over to you. Seeing this big in-division matchup, what were your opinions?
Yeah, I mean, we knew this was kind of going to be what the case was. I mean, the Saints are a team that's in rebuild mode, and when a team's in this type of mode, and trust me, I know all about it. You are going to be a bad football team right now, right? You're going to have some heavy contracts that you don't want. You're going to have guys that you don't need. You got to have a staff that's trying to rebuild on the fly, right? And scheme on the fly and throwing shit at the wall, see if it sticks. That's what the New Orleans Saints are doing right now. And maybe Shuck eventually becomes the answer at quarterback. Maybe the defense keeps improving, but this is a team that feels like it's not turning around anytime soon, right? I did think down the bright side there, the Saints defense actually did show up. That they held the Buccaneers to 3.8 yards per play. So stopped them at the 1 yard line on 7 of 8 tries, sacked Baker Mayfield 3 times. So that they basically did their job. But when we talk about the quarterback situation, I mean, you're pulling, Spencer Rattler mid game to put, Tyler Shuck in. That's rough, right? It's not exactly a confidence booster heading forward for your offense, right? As for the Buccaneers, man, they went in there, they handled business. You would think that this was a game that they would, I guess, if you want to truly say they dominated, like, a true blowout, right? But they did their thing. The defense did their thing. They had 2 sacks in the game, a forced fumble, also a pick 6. Antoine Winfield did his things, but you also kept the Saints under 250 yards and only 3 points and 4 turnovers. So played fast, disciplined football on the defensive side of things. The offensive side, I felt like they were kind of searching for things a little bit. I mean, Baker Mayfield, not bad, but not great. 15 to 24, 152 yards and 1 touchdown. So it didn't seem like the offense was really finding some rhythm in this game. But again, the Saints, kind of made this game easy for the Bucs with those turnovers, missed blocks, right? And I think the Bucs, at the end of the day, when they once they finally kind of got going, they smelled blood and ran with it, and winning teams do that. So,
yeah, absolutely. And let's go on over to you, Berto, to wrap us up with this game. What were your opinions?
Yeah, everybody touched on so many great opinions, but I saw this game in a different light, man. I think New Orleans actually did have a chance to come out of here with a W or the upset, whichever way you want to phrase it, right? New Orleans had more yards, 275. They had more plays, averaging 3.9, had more passing yards, 227. They were better in third down efficiency. They had 71 total plays, 17 first downs. But to TJ's point, Kellen Moore looked like a deer in headlights a lot of the times. And, it's a waste. It's a waste when you have Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, 2 guys that are speedsters, that you don't properly utilize them, because I think it can open up so much of the run game. And like you mentioned, not running this or not using Alvin Kamara as they should. And Neal, oh, by the way, he's a kid that showed some grit in this game too. I think there's too many pieces in this offense that are just misutilized, and they missed out on an opportunity, because I think that they got to Baker, they held him for under 152 yards. They kept in check Emeka Ibuka, who's been tearing the league all apart. So I feel like I feel like New Orleans had a damn chance to come out with a victory here, but unfortunately it just didn't go his route. But on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not going to sit here and glaze this team like so many people have done. I think you guys, Buccaneer fans, enjoy these wins. Enjoy beating up these teams they're struggling to find identities in themselves, right? And teams, who do I mean by the New Orleans Saints, the Atlanta Falcons, the New York Jets, and the Houston Texans? Those are easy W's for you guys in the respective matchups. We've seen what you guys have put up against elite teams. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles loss. Look at the spanking y'all took against the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football, with a tough stretch of schedule coming up against the Patriots, the Rams, the Bills. I think this is where we're going to see that this true Buccaneer team and what they're made all about. So I don't know. Y'all can glaze. Y'all can talk all about the Bucs doing this, that, and the other. But coming after a bye, this Buccaneers team could be very well be sitting at 6-5 after it's all said and done. So congratulations to the Buccaneers on winning a game that by so many metrics should be winnable. But the true test is coming up, man. But to the game at hand, man, hey, man, it was an NFC South rival matchup. Those are fun matchups to watch overall. But it just sucks, that New Orleans got trashed the way that they did.
And man, as we love to say on the channel, a win is a win and a loss is a loss at the end of the day. And you guys absolutely took care of business. Yes, against definitely a bottom 5 team in the league right now, but nonetheless, that's step one of being a good football team. Step one of being a good football team is not going out there necessarily beating up the bad teams, but step one of being a good football team is by dominantly beating those bad teams and those lower league teams. And you know what? The Buccaneers were certainly able to do that. So before we transition on into this next game, I want to get into some super chats because you guys are being so generous in the chat. And we really do appreciate it. $5 donation.
Come on, you know it.
Shout out to the NFC South Roundtable. Go Bucs. Got some Bucs fans in the chat. Hey, Bert, so we got your buddy here, Tom Brady, with a $14 donation.
It's not a show without Tom.
It's Patriots week, Bert. So like you knew he had to come in here and say something.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Tom Brady. It says, Happy Halloween, February 5th at Ben's Field at the Hour of Devil. Tom appears look pale as Falcons fans' faces after that famous 28-3 chance echo all night. Franchise news. Oh, actually, I think it's someone else, but I'm not gonna say that. X for life, may close coffin, son rip. There we go. That's a little Halloween story for you there, Bert. So tell that to your kids.
Man, I ain't buying into that.
Tell your kids that story tonight, man. It's a new one.
I don't know.
You could, dude. You could turn it into a little Christmas book. It was the night before the Super Bowl. There you go. And Berto, I promised you a couple of weeks ago, right, that I wasn't going to make 28-3 jokes. And so I can't speak for Tom Brady, But because you put the Patriots number 1 in the AFC East, I will not make any comments. I
Oh,
promise. I will
no.
live up
All
to
right.
that.
So we're still holding on to past favors. I see what you're doing.
I got you, bro.
I see
I
what you
got
got.
you.
I appreciate that, bro.
Mr.
I
King
appreciate
comes
it.
in here with a $5 donation. It says, shout out to the Saints fans still here, even after a loss. Falcons fans looking like some fair weathers. Anyway, go Bucs. Falcons are a joke.
Explain that. What does fair weather mean? Do another donation and put the meaning on it.
Do another donation. Explain it. Put the definition. $10 donation. You're a big shout out. Season's greetings, everyone. And fuck the Falcons. Wow, it's a lot of fuck the Falcons in the chat today,
bro.
Berto.
Man,
Damn.
most hated, brother. Most hated.
Damn, I didn't know the hate was this bad. Terrell comes in here with a $5 donation. Terrell, we appreciate you. And DQ comes in here with a $5 donation. I knew Berto was gonna hate on the Bucs because if it was the Falcons, he wouldn't be saying any of.
Listen, I'll keep this shit. I'll keep it a buck. But ask yourself as a true Buccaneer fan, or maybe Evan can even chime in on this. You got to combine points. You got combined wins by 5 points to the teams that just mentioned: the Falcons, the Texans, the Jets. Right? You get mollywopped by Detroit. Right? You win a close one. You lose to the Eagles. Right? I think the most impressive win on your respected schedule is against the Seattle Seahawks. I think that's the most impressive win right now. So it's this next week of stretch of games here is really going to show what this Buccaneers team is made of. We're gonna see the coaching, the depth chart be tested, all the above. So it's going to be true telling of what this Buccaneers team is going to be made of going forward.
But Berto, to be fair, man, to be fair, man, you got to look at your schedule too. I mean, that Buffalo Bills victory was impressive, but you played the Commanders without Jaden Daniels. You played against the Minnesota Vikings with an inexperienced quarterback and JJ McCarthy. Like, we got to keep it a buck too now, man. Like,
no. But it is keeping it a buck. But I'm just saying, like, everybody's glazing the Bucs, and oh my God, they're winning games they should actually win, right? But what impressive victory other than the Seahawks can you actually say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have had on the schedule? The San Francisco game after Fred Warner left, right? What was the 49ers in that game? They were struggling.
They were up when Warner left.
They've been decimated.
Regardless
of
what it is, they ended up winning that game 30-19. But for me, in my opinion, I feel like the Seattle Seahawks game was the most impressive victory for this Tampa Bay game. I think you
gotta add that though, Berto. Look how many like skilled players are out dealing injury. No Bucky Irvin, no Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin. Mega Booker dealing with a hamstring, and man, we look. Good teams find ways to win. Y'all find ways to win, and you also can't apologize for what another team don't have. Like,
man, that's not their problem.
TJ.
That's exactly. That's not their problem. All I'm saying is we're gonna see what this Buccaneers team is made of in these next 3 games coming up. That's what I'm saying.
For sure. Wait till that Bucs team gets healthy, and then we might be having a different conversation, Berto.
Then we'll have that conversation when we cross that bridge. But right now, for all of this, we're gonna see what they're made of. That's all.
Certainly will be a big test over the next 3 weeks here for Tampa. But let's go ahead and let's get on into this next game. Of course, we're talking about the Buffalo Bills, the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers getting humbled here. I mean, 40-9. Obviously, Bryce Young, the starting quarterback, not playing. You got Andy Dalton. I think you can kind of understand why Andy Dalton's a backup quarterback in the league here at this point. Clay, you knew that this was going to be a big one. The Bills were coming off of a bye week. Just what led to the absolute demise here?
Oh, Andy Dalton. I mean, it's just plain and simple that. I mean, you talk about a guy that, I mean, listen, the NBA right now is that they're doing them FBI investigations. I need one on Andy Dalton right now. I need one on Andy Dalton because this guy came out here, a guy who's a 37-year-old quarterback veteran, and he comes out here and doesn't look like he ever played football in his life. You could tell that this guy was scared to get hit. And he folded like a cheap tent. And listen, it was just absolutely embarrassing. I can tell you right now, after watching this, the message is clear. The Panthers need Bryce Young. And a lot of you guys might be like in the chat, want to be saying, talk about my quarterback and all that at this point. Bryce Young is so important to this offense due to the fact that he's able to improvise. He's able to get out the pocket when he needs to. He's able to make some magic happen sometimes when he shouldn't be able to, right? He sees the pressure coming. He reads the defense better than Andy Dalton does. we're not talking about the Andy Dalton for 10 years ago. Andy Dalton looked like a statue on roller skates out there. Okay. We're talking to 7 sacks, threw a pick, and lost 2 fumbles in this game. Again, Andy Dalton, it was just an absolute disaster class by Andy Dalton, but it didn't help either that the offensive line, you lose your starting center, and it started there first. And then you lose your right guard, Brady Christensen, to an Achilles rupture, which it's a season-ending Achilles. Then you lose Taylor Moton throughout this game. So your whole right side is basically being filled with backups and backups and backups. But again, another thing is the run game was still a mess. Like, finally, that they announced today that Rico Dowdle is going to be taking more reps going forward. He will be RB1. Thank goodness, because he is the guy that has been bringing the juice, who has the better vision, who is putting the better production on the field. I mean, it looks like Pop Warner out there when one drive you got Chuba Hubbard going, then the next drive you got Rico Dowdle going. Okay, it's like, oh, let's give everybody a turn. Okay, it's not working, man. It's not working, and you're honestly mismanaging these guys. Okay, Rico Dowdle should have been the RB1 moving forward, point blank, period. And keeping Hubbard in a lead role at this point feels like you're coaching malpractice. All right. So again, good thing that they've announced that today, sounds like. And again, a few bright spots though, I will say, Tedero McMillan is a wide receiver 1. He's basically the lone bright spot on this offense, catching 7 passes for 99 yards on 10 targets. They tested him in the slot, and he was eating those linebackers up. And I mean, it's a great mismatch that they put out there. He's just big and tough and consistent. He's just an elite route runner, great hands. So, I don't know where this offense would be without a Tedero McMillan, but again, defensively, I guess this was our worst nightmare, man. Like, defensively, you only allowed between the Dolphins game, the Dallas game, and the why am my mind's blanking right now? But we only allowed in the last 3 games 131 yards total. So this run defense was top 10, and James Cook just came through and just absolutely torched us, right? He ran through us, around us, past our defense, and our defense looked stout, man, and Buffalo pulled him with 10 minutes left of the game, and when the game was basically already over. Again, this was a game for Carolina to prove it. And the only thing they proved is that they're not ready to compete with the big dogs yet. This one sucked. It was humbling. It was ugly. It was borderline embarrassing, but it's also, again, it's one of those games that can serve a reality check real quick. And I think me as a Panthers fans and a lot of other Panthers fans aren't ready to hang with the league's elite yet. I mean, especially when you're missing out on your quarterback, but we've got a huge stretch of games. If we can sneak out maybe 1 or 2 of those going forward, against Green Bay, the Rams, Seattle, and then you got to play Tampa twice. That's all looming, in the coming weeks. So this depth is going to be really tested, and this coaching will be really questioned. And I hope this team's mental toughness is ready.
Well, let's go ahead and let's go down to Berto, because I think Berto can relate to you here a little bit, Clay, on just some of the disappointing football that you are witnessing here. And so, Berto, maybe there's a thing or two that you can tell our good friend Clay to kind of put him in some positive spirits here moving forward.
Yeah, man, you got to keep your emotions in check, man. You can't be sounding the instruments that keep pounding, man. You guys were definitely humbled in this one, and I knew you guys were cooked the minute that Dalton took that unnecessary sack before going into the half. I'm like, all right, this game is not even going to be competitive just one bit, right? And, again, playing a Buffalo Bills team that got embarrassed on Monday Night Football to our Atlanta Falcons, it was their get-back game, man. They were just rolling. They had an answer for everything that the Panthers wanted to throw their way. And it's crazy to say, but this offense needed Bryce Young. Could Bryce Young have been a factor into this game? We all don't know, but damn, did it serve? It would have been better had Bryce been back there trying to throw the ball around, because Andy Dalton, man, at 37 years of age, man, it's time to hang it up, just like a guy that we have in Atlanta, Kirk Cousins, as well. He should be doing the same thing sometime soon. But yeah, man, Buffalo just ran all over y'all, man. You guys had no answer for James Cook. Khalil Shakir also, had a couple. They had a touchdown, so it was a humbling defeat. It should be a humbling defeat for the Carolina Panthers. And yes, like Clay mentioned, they're not ready to hang with the league's elite, man.
Well, let's go ahead and let's go on over to TJ. TJ, what were your thoughts about the Carolina Panthers getting, respectfully, Clay, BTA?
Well, I think it's simple, man. When you're dealing with a young team, sometimes they have a tough time with dealing with prosperity. And, when you're a team who have been dominating the run game, you got Rico Dowdle out there running for 200 plus, and you also have Roy McMillan coming on. I think that they kind of arrogantly went into this game, because when you look at some of the things that the Carolina Panthers have been thriving in, the Buffalo Bills have been lacking in defensively. Like, they have a really bad run defense. Their secondary is very questionable, especially when it comes to those big body receivers. So this was a really good matchup for the Carolina Panthers. So I honestly feel they went into this game feeling like they were going to get the best of the Buffalo Bills. The fact that they beat the Atlanta Falcons, and how Atlanta looked against Buffalo. So they probably felt like they were going to get the best of them. But the problem was Buffalo was on a 2-game losing streak, and they needed this game badly. And you also have to take into account it was a bye week. Look, I take nothing away from this game other than the fact that this is a young team trying to find a way to win and trying to continue to have success. But they went up against a really good team that will be there in the end in the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they have their struggles, but we know that James Cook is a really good running back. We know that Josh Allen is the reigning MVP, and they have a lot of talent on both sides of the football. Andy Dalton, it was just rough. But I just want some of these teams, fans, to understand this. And we'll get into the Falcons in a minute. I know when you're dealing with these young, inexperienced quarterbacks, you're looking up at the sky like, man, we need to go with this guy and that guy. Be careful what you ask for, because they got a dose of reality in Carolina on Sunday. I know Bryce Young may not give you everything that you want right now, but he is the best fit for where this team is actually going. And Andy Dalton is, I guess, like just an example of where this team doesn't need to be. So I just think that people just need to understand patience and understand that the young Bryce Young is developing in front of their eyes. And I get how this NFL world is right now. Everybody wants instant gratification. Everybody wants their quarterback to look like Jaden Daniels and Cam Newton did in their first year and keep that thing going. But it is a process. It is a marathon, not a sprint. So I think that they just underestimated the Buffalo Bills just a tad bit, and read a little bit of their press clippings a little bit too much. So it's a learning experience.
Absolutely. And let's go on up to you, Evan, and wrap us up with this game. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, the guys pretty much summed it up really well. Buffalo's a really good football team. I think Carolina has shown positive steps this season, right? They've had a couple of really nice wins and everything after a pretty tough start to the season. But I do think it got away from them, right? And I think it does sort of show that, yeah, they're not ready for this level of competition just yet. I mean, Josh Allen only had to throw the ball 19 times. Panthers allowed 410 total yards of offense to the Bills, 245 rushing yards. So you're not going to win many football games like that, right? And not to mention on the offensive side for the Panthers, they had 3 turnovers. So, not having Bryce Young, it definitely hurts. And, Bryce Young's had an up and down career, right? The highs, I think, have been pretty good. And he's had the makings of like, okay, like this could be a guy. And then there's some lows there, but I think you are seeing, just like, it was said previously that Bryce Young is very important to this football team, right? Regardless of the production that you're getting from him on a week-to-week basis, he's the best option that they have, right? And you have to find out your answer here sooner rather than later on Bryce Young, because I don't think the answer is concrete right now. I don't think it's whether he's great or whether he's a bust. I don't really think we have that answer right now. I'm still looking for a little bit more out of him, but I think it is clear that obviously the best version of this Panthers team was not out there on Sunday, and I think you sort of saw that as well. I was surprised though that the Bills were able to have so much success on the ground against Carolina, because I know that was an issue for Carolina last year, their defense, but this year they've gotten a lot better, and Sunday was just an ugly one. But it is what it is. I mean, these types of games are going to happen, right? When you're trying to build, when you're trying to get to that next level, you're going to have some games that unfortunately do end up getting away from you. And I think Sunday was sort of a pretty big case of that.
Yeah, it was certainly one of those games where it's like, yeah, Josh Allen didn't beat you. I feel like you guys actually did fairly well against Josh Allen, but it was the fact that you couldn't stop the run game. You allowed them to dominate time of possession, string together drives, obviously, and just, keep you guys off the field. And when you did take the field, at that point, the lead was just a little bit too far ahead. And then they kind of forced you to win with Andy Dalton there and made you one-dimensional. And that's certainly just a recipe to lose. But guys, let us know your thoughts about this game in the comment section below. And let's go ahead and let's get into this final game here from week 8 before we start previewing these guys' thoughts here for week 9. Berto, we got to kick this one to you. We heard your thoughts about this one a little bit earlier, but dive deep into what exactly happened here. You touched upon Drake London obviously not playing in this game. That was a kind of surprising game time decision there for you guys. And then Bijan Robinson, against one of the worst run defending units in the league in Miami, just was not able to get anything going for Kirk Cousins. So what happened here?
Yeah, complete domination. It was what it was, man. The Dolphins got embarrassed last week versus the Cleveland Browns 31-6. Used the Falcons as a get-right game, and they were dominant from beginning to end. Tua Tagovailoa, woke up with a swollen eye, and I hear the presses about, Atlanta's going to get to his ass and do this, that, and the third. Man, Atlanta didn't do a goddamn thing on Sunday other than just show up, man. So this Dolphins team dominated in total yards, 338, passing yards, 197, 141 rushing yards, man. They just had their way with Atlanta's run defense, which ranks, and respectable, right middle of the pack. I think they ranked 16th in the league. They were gashed. Yards per play. McDaniel and Tua just were in sync as a play caller and quarterback. Jalen Waddle just showed the explosive wide receiver that he was. We were able to neutralize Devon Achane to some regard, but really it was just a bad game plan overall. We went into this one unprepared. We let a 1-6 team just come in and steamroll us. Tua looked like prime Tua, and that probably will put a smile from ear to ear to TD, man. So shout out to TD and his Dolphins for getting the victory. The Falcons were completely outclassed in this one, undisciplined, 8 penalties, and now to the skill set players. Listen, yes, Drake London was not dressed for this game, but during training camp, during the offseason, we were giving this notion that, Casey Washington was going to be that next wide receiver to step up. He was non-existent in this game. Darnell Mooney still can't find his stride, having an up and down year. He was targeted just a couple times, 1 catch, 11 yards. You have Bijan Robinson, who has been a factor both in the run game and in the pass game, just completely just shut down. Right. 9 carries for 25 yards, only averaged 2.8 yards for carry. He had 3 targets or 3 catches for 25 yards in the passing game. This is your all-purpose back, and you couldn't get anything going. But I put the blame solely on Zach Robinson and his arrogance to just make the in-game decisions, just to pivot. You look at what Anthony Weaver was able to do to the Falcons. What can you do? Coming out of the half to just show some life? Absolutely nothing. They stuck to their bullshit game plan, and it just blew up in their face, right? Hopefully this loss here humbles the Atlanta Falcons and starts to think, man, did we make a mistake, allowing Zach Robinson, a first-year play caller last year, but even in this year, just not putting more pieces around him to get things going, man. It was just an overall piss poor performance by the Falcons, man. 34-10 to come into the Benz and just man, they wiped the floor clean with this. There's really no other way to put it. And on defense, right? Obviously, this next man up mentality is absolute bullshit to me. We had the Guardian cap wearer there, J.D. Bertan, who names himself Captain America. Man, this is Steve Rogers before the serum was placed in him. He turned to Captain America. That guy does not belong on an NFL field whatsoever, let alone on this Atlanta Falcons ball club. The the missing Divine Diablo is already speaking volumes to this Falcons defense, right? What Mike McDaniel was able to do was target him early, often, and with great success, man. I think he was one of the worst PFF graded linebackers for the entire year thus far, with a PFF grade of 28. You know, they were able to just nitpick the middle of this Falcons defense, and Jeff Ulbrich and company could not pivot whatsoever. They could not scheme or strategize their next move to stop this, man, just the steamrolling offense, because it's exactly what it looked like. The Dolphins were moving the ball at will. They kept us in favorable third down situations. And with the Falcons not having a bona fide nose tackle to negate the run, they just lived and just got first downs at will. So overall, it was a bad game plan, poor preparation, and it led to the result being 34-10, getting dusted.
TJ, let's go on over to you, man. We know you're going to keep it real when it comes to the Falcons. What did you realize about them in this game? And just what are your thoughts about them being so hot and cold so far this season? What do you make of this team?
I mean, look no further than the head coach. I mean, I keep telling people, I'm sorry. The Falcons will not reach prosperity. Like, they will not reach their full potential until Raheem Morris is no longer the head coach. I'm telling you, it is what it is. And then also, number two, teams are starting to realize that Bijan Robinson is the straw that stirs the drink. You know, like they have that old saying, you cut off the head and the body will follow. He is the head of that offense. Like, getting him all those touches in space, and also being able to run in between the tackles, his elusivity, his ability to make people miss. It makes the defense have to cheat up. It makes them have to zero in on him, which sets up the play action and down the field throws. So if you neutralize Bijan Robinson, that offense is going to be stuck in neutral. It was a really good game plan by the Miami Dolphins. They understood the assignment. The 49ers last week understood the assignment. And the Atlanta Falcons are going to have to figure this thing out. I don't think anything's wrong with Zach Robinson. I really don't. I just think that they need to stop zeroing in so much on Bijan. They go into games, justifiably so, trying to utilize him in a multifaceted of ways. But the problem is defenses understand that. So he's going to have to make those adjustments. You know, I mean, they dealt with some injuries. I believe Diablo, he was having a really good season. And, you know, I think that he is a guy who is a difference maker on that defense. Offensively, you know, Drake London not being there, I mean, that is a huge loss. And I know we talk about next man up, but I mean, there's a such thing as a depth chart for a reason.
It got tested.
I think it was a tough day at the office. And, you know, I gotta give credit to the Miami Dolphins, because I thought they were DOA. I thought this was going to be one of those games where, you know, Atlanta would go in and kind of steamroll them. And then we're having this conversation about how long would it be before Mike McDaniel is no longer the head coach. But they had other things in mind. So credit to the Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa coming into Mercedes-Benz Stadium and really dominating this game from start to finish, offensively and defensively.
That's a clear fact, man.
Well, let's go on up to Evan. Evan, what were your thoughts about Miami shocking Atlanta?
Shocking is the word. That's what I would use. I mean, I thought even, you know, without Michael Penix Jr., without Drake London, obviously Drake London, you know, being a late inactive there, I still thought they were going to be able to find a way, right, to take care of business, because I do think this Atlanta team, it's got some real talent, right? Like it's got some players on it. It's not like it's a talentless football team. But this is just a brutal loss. I mean, this is just a loss that can't happen if you're trying to make the playoffs, regardless of who the quarterback is or what receiver's out. This is a bad football team in Miami, right? And I think you sort of played into their strengths a little bit. Tua had a great day, and he's really struggled mightily this entire season. The Falcons defense, who I actually thought has been pretty solid this entire season. I thought it was a pretty improved group. They did not play well. The Falcons offense could not get anything going. I mean, I understand, like I said, it's tough sledding when you have Kirk Cousins in there, and Kirk Cousins at this point in his career, we sort of know what he is. There's a reason that the Falcons went to Michael Penix Jr. last year when they did. There's a reason that Michael Penix Jr. was the starter for the Falcons this year. Hopefully he can, heal up soon. I don't think Kirk Cousins is like the sole person to blame for this loss. I think there's a lot of other factors here, especially when you only score 10 points and you allow 34. I mean, yeah, there's going to be more than just one guy. But I do think that, yeah, maybe the Bijan thing, has some merit, right? Maybe the Falcons need to start looking at some other options. But when you're without Drake London, Kyle Pitts has had a nice year, I think. But when you're without Drake London, yeah, you're going to lean on Bijan a little bit more than maybe you'd like to. And I think the Dolphins did a pretty good job of finding that out and finding out the ways to stop him. So it's a tough loss for Atlanta, and just a loss that good football teams usually don't have.
I do have a question though. I don't want to just read into like social media. Sometimes it don't give you like a clear understanding of what's going on. Were there Atlanta Falcon fans upset with Michael Penix talking about him getting benched? Berto, did you like sense that? Did you hear it? Because people were getting upset about Michael Penix's performances over the last couple of weeks, and I'm just wondering, like, what was that like the pulse of the Atlanta Falcon fan base with Michael Penix's performance, them not really buying into Michael Penix?
Well, I mean, that's just I think that comes a lot from, I hate to say it, well, people that don't truly understand what the process means, right? This is a young quarterback still that we have to allow the time to go through the ups and downs. And this is a franchise that really hasn't had success in a very long time, 7 or 8 years counting, right? So they expect Michael Penix to be that savior type quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We need to give him time. I haven't heard anything really negative in regards to Michael Penix. Some people have say, oh, he's not him. But I think people are just too quick to judge based off the up and down season it's been thus far. But to so many people that talk like that about Penix, you got to look at Zach Robinson too. Is Zach Robinson the style of offensive coordinator that can develop a guide to the skill set of Michael Penix? We don't know that. These guys are just doing this for the first time this year. So there's a lot still to be desired. I think he'll get better as the season goes on, but I don't think there's a pulse where that says that the benching or replacing Penix is even a thing in Atlanta, man.
Okay.
I don't buy into the social media crap as it is, but and I don't mean to take up too much time, Clay, but you talk about, you mentioned this, TJ, that you don't think is solely Zach Robinson. Yes and no, right? Zach has been able to call pretty good games, but when he had Kirk Cousins, it just feels like he cannot pivot to the element or the excitement that Michael Penix is, that offers you so much more to open up the playbook. And we've seen this playbook still about this little, and it hasn't expanded. And it's all bullshit, because he called it at the beginning of training camp. Oh, you're going to see so many new things, so many nuances to the offense. We haven't seen anything. When you have defensive players knowing what Drake London's going to do, either a flat or a dig, then you have a problem. You have a predictable problem on this offense. That's Zach's problem. Also, run game coordinator Dwayne Ledford, he gets, he needs to be put on the spotlight too, because he's the one that helps implement these run schemes and whatnot. And a lot of teams can tell you, if Charlie Warner is in motion, it's a goddamn run to Charlie's side. It's too predictable. The Falcons have to stop getting out of their way and just branch out and try new things. Implement more ISO, more power, more duo, instead of just keep going that zone stretch or that zone outside with Bijan. I know Bijan has all, he's an elusive back, great vision, but God damn it, he was able to do different things in Texas under Steve Sarkisian, and we can do this here in Atlanta as well. We're just married and normed by one scheme, and that's it. We need to pivot. We need to grow as an offense.
Absolutely. And let's go up to Clay here, and let's finish him off before we go ahead and we get into these Week 9 previews. Clay, any last thoughts that don't think haven't been said yet?
I mean, I think the biggest thing that I took away from this game is that Kirk Cousins didn't help himself at all for trade value either. Because that's something that I think this is a game that Atlanta probably was hoping, hey, have a big game, and you could have boosted his trade value even more, right? And I think that's something that I, as a Falcons fan, I'd be pissed about with, especially with that contract. But there was just no big plays, no explosiveness on that offense. The offensive line was a mess. I was looking at the first half stats. I mean, 3 points, 58 total yards, 0 third down conversions.
Crazy.
I get that Bijan Robinson also only had 12 yards in the first half, but he is your biggest playmaker on the team, and that guy should be having 20 to 25 carries, but maybe even 30 a game. Because here's the thing, who else is out there making plays besides them? When Drake London's on the field, you don't have anybody else probably creating separation because Darnell Mooney's coming off an injury. He's still probably not fully healthy yet. Ray McLeod's gone. So it's just like, and Kyle Pitts led the team in receiving, but you can't rely on Kyle Pitts the whole time. So it was basically nothing was working for this team. And you would think that Jeff Ulbrich, playing the Dolphins twice a year last year, would understand what that offense brings and entails and would have had a scheme and a game plan put together for this Falcons defense to get some stops when they needed them, and they just couldn't do it. I think it was just overall a poor coaching performance from top to bottom, and I would blame it more on the coaching than I would any of the players.
Absolutely. Well, guys, before we go ahead and we get into week 9, make sure you let us know your thoughts about not just this game, but all of the week 8 games in the comment section below. Want to give a big shout out to our good friends, of course, over at RotoWire. You guys know RotoWire from when we talked about them early on in the season, making sure that you guys dominated your fantasy leagues. But RotoWire is more than just that. RotoWire also makes sure that you guys are dominating your player props and your parlays every single week. Right now, you guys can get an exclusive offer because of Roundtable Sports, the link in the description box below. When you use the code RTS with RotoWire, you will be getting 15% off. This is going to make sure that you get your money back, okay? No longer are the days of you missing out on your money because you didn't get that one player in your parlay or your player props, making sure that you guys dominate and you make some extra money. They're going to tell you odds that they like for you to take the over or the under on. So, for example, here, they like Dalton Kincaid over 34.5 receiving yard against the Kansas City Chiefs. If we want to look at some of the unders they like Devon Achane under 99.5 rushing and receiving yards against the Baltimore Ravens this upcoming week. These are just some of the odds that they like that you guys can get on with RotoWire. Of course, link in the description box below. But let's go ahead and let's get into some of these super chats because you guys are being very, very generous. Don't want to get too behind on these. Andy Dalton sucks. That's it. Point blank period. Andy Dalton sucks. Coming from Panthers fans. We got a $2 donation, says, Bucs been injured and no wide receivers and half of the O-line is missing. So maybe putting some context behind what's going on there with Tampa Bay. $5 donation here says, definition, the Falcons are ass. Oh, so Berto, you got your definition. The Falcons are ass and the Bens look like Baja Blast at halftime. And yes, if the offense
Baja Blast
plays like
sucks.
it has, this team is effed. Point blank period. All right.
By the way, Colby, we got 260 plus people in here watching. We only got 78 likes. The math ain't math, ladies and gentlemen.
That's
the math
not
ain't
math at all. 300 now, Clay. We got 256 watching on YouTube, more watching on Twitter. The way that I see it, guys, is there's absolutely no reason we shouldn't have 200 likes by the end of the stream. If you guys like what you're seeing, make sure to hit that like button. It goes a long way at supporting us here at the NFC South Roundtable. It essentially pushes our show out into the YouTube-verse for other people to find. By liking the video, you're essentially telling YouTube, yeah, this video was good enough for other people to be seeing it. So make sure you guys help us. Leave a like on the video. We got a $2 donation, says Berto. We see you at the game on Sunday. Rhode Island Falcons fan here. Wow.
That's my guy, Brendan.
We got multiple Falcons fans here from Rhode Island. How about that? Hashtag
Imagine
fire
that.
Raheem. Hashtag fire Zach. Their egos are too big.
Hello.
All right. Let's see. Tom Brady comes back in here with a $3 donation. Says Super Bowl 51 scarier than any Halloween movie for an Atlanta Falcons.
Bro, that's lame as fuck, bro. Man.
Oh, man. It's a little funny.
Lord.
All right. Falcons are too talented to be coached this poorly. I think
I agree. I agree with that.
on that one.
I agree with that.
Our favorite Falcons fan out there, I believe this Zoe's a Falcons fan, right? Or is she a Tampa fan? I think Zoe might be. Oh, she's Zoe Tampa fan. Zoe, I don't want to do you dirty, okay? I don't want to do you dirty. I was about to say biggest Falcons fan we know out there, but I think she might be a Buccaneers fan. Zoe, let us know.
I think that's a
Buccaneers
Buccaneers jersey. I could be wrong.
I think she's a Bucs fan if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But Zoe, let us know in the comment section below so we don't disrespect
We
you.
appreciate you, Zoe.
She says Panthers got stomped. Okay, yeah. She's definitely a Bucs fan. She's definitely a Bucs
There
fan.
it is.
Falcons got cooked and the Saints got belt to ass. Great weekend smoking on all three divisional packs. Shout out to Zoe here every single week representing the number one Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Smoking's bad for you. Leave that shit alone.
Smoking's bad for you. I don't care. Our coaches had us unprepared. We got whooped. Sounds
Damn
like
right.
Berto, your fellow Falcons fans are.
Hey man, he knows
here.
the vibes. He knows what it was, man.
Absolutely. The Dolphins is known as the softest team in the NFL, and they lined up and punched the Falcons where the mouth over and over and over again. Keep quiet. Damn. Comes back in here and says Falcons got bitch slapped and they didn't have any pimp money.
Oh man, keep the donations coming, man. Shit, $5. What's the next one? Say something else derogatory.
And then a $2 donation follows that up and says, and the pimp was only 3 feet tall.
Oh, that's a blast, bro. That's tough.
Well, let's go ahead and let's transition on here into week 9. Evan, obviously your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on a bye week, so you don't got to worry this week about your own squad. Kind of go back into that bye week, get right, get a little bit healthier coming out into week 10, of course, facing the New England Patriots there. And so let's go ahead and let's get into the Carolina Panthers. You guys are facing the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, the Packers are playing very, very good football right now. Jordan Love is getting hotter and hotter. Clay, this is going to be another very, very tough matchup for your Carolina Panthers. Do you think that this is a possibility for you guys to get right again and make a statement to the league?
I mean, this is also a prove it game for the Carolina Panthers. Once again, this is another prove it one. I think that we have to go in this game and thinking about controlling the clock with Daddle. Protect Bryce Young. Again, he might not even play this game. There has been some rumors that they might sit him out one more week, just for safety reasons. Obviously, with a high ankle sprain, but we'll see. He's still day-to-day at this point. We'll find out more tomorrow on his update after practice. But we got to stay disciplined in coverage. We got to limit Parsons and Gary's chaos because those are the guys who are absolutely wreaking havoc on quarterbacks, but no turnovers. And that's it. You mess any of those up against Green Bay and they'll crush you. So again, I think this game isn't impossible for Carolina to win, because we have to play smart. We have to be aggressive and mistake-free football. But I just think right now, after what I saw against the Buffalo Bills, it's hard for me to feel like we're going to go into Green Bay and get this dub. But I think it'll be something like 28-16.
28-16. So I think it'll be relatively close, Clay, right? Like it's not going to be a blowout like it was against Buffalo.
Yeah, I think it'll be a nice little bounce back. We got humbled, but I think this is a game that Carolina can really, kind of maybe get back on their feet a little bit. But I don't think we'll win this game, no.
Certainly put up a fight at the very least. Berto, let's go down to you. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, man, listen, I think you hit it on the head right there with the Jordan Love comment. He's heating up, right? And that offense, when it gets clicking, it's going to be scary. We're already seeing what Tucker Kraft has done, one of the better tight ends in the league. They have speed on the outside with Romeo Doubs. And what the Panthers shown this past weekend, their inability to tackle at the back end, especially on that Khalil Shakur long touchdown, man, it just spells trouble for the Carolina Panthers. I don't know. I don't think the Panthers can get right in this game. This is too talented of a Green Bay Packers team, and you got to deal with the guy on the other side, Micah Parsons, right, who's a handful to deal with. Kingsley Egumbara, the other pass rusher, also Rashawn Gary for the Green Bay Packers, guys that can get after it. Devontae Wyatt in the middle of the defense. Too much firepower for this Green Bay Packers. So I think for the Panthers to try and contest against. So I'm going to say this, man. Give me Green Bay 30-17. Packers win.
30-17. Berto is also going to take the Green Bay Packers. TJ, let's go on over to you. Who you taking?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the NFC and one of the best teams in the league. I just think that what Carolina does best, the Packers can neutralize that. I mean, they're one of the top run defenses in football, and we've seen that the bread has been buttered by the Carolina Panthers over the last couple of weeks by featuring their running game. So I just think it's going to be tough for them to be able to run the ball against a very stout defense up front with the Packers. They're probably going to have to rely on their passing game, which, believe it or not, man, the Packers aren't one of the best pass defenses in the league. So there are opportunities there. So they're going to have to, not turn the ball over and play some disciplined offense. But I just think that, you look at what James Cook last week, and now you got Josh Jacobs going up against him. It's going to be pretty tough for this team. So I got the Packers winning this football game.
Let's go ahead and let's go on up to you, Evan. Wrap us up with this one. Are you going to make this 4 out of 4 Green Bay Packers, or do you think that there is any way possible, shape or form, that the Carolina Panthers pull out some magic trick?
I am going to make it 4 for 4. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers here. Jordan Love coming off of a great performance against the Steelers, nearly 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I think he's going to keep doing what he's been doing. Very good quarterback, obviously. Green Bay, already been mentioned that Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary, 2 guys that are definitely going to need attention and a lot of it. So, unfortunately for the Panthers, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I don't think that the Packers are that type of team to maybe blow out a team every week. And look, I mean, this is the NFL, right? So I do think the Panthers are going to be playing with a bit more pride this week, after that really terrible showing against Buffalo. So I don't think this is a blowout. I think it's a closer game. I do have the Packers winning, though, 31-21. I think the Packers are going to take it.
Right, the National Football League, like we like to call it here, not for long. And so any given week, baby, any given week. Let's go ahead and let's get on into this next game because, Berto, you guys are playing those New England Patriots that are 6-2.
I am surprised that you just went with this game last. I swear to you, I thought you were going to leave this one for last.
Well, I gotta remain unbiased, of course, because I'm very good at doing that here on the show.
You sure are. You're one of the best players.
I actually just saw a stat. Unbiasedly speaking, I just saw a stat that said the Patriots have the 3rd best point differential in the league. So interesting fact there. Now, Berto, obviously the Patriots have traded off some depth pieces here today in safety Kyle Duggar and edge Keon White. And so something to at least keep in mind heading into this game. What do you think?
I don't think it makes a difference, man. If we were playing after a Buffalo Bills win, I'd say, hey, Kobe, this is going to be a fun offensive output game. Two of the top offenses in the NFL, one clearly playing like it, one clearly not playing like it. Right now, as it stands, the Patriots have the 10th ranked offense, the Falcons down to 14th after, just an embarrassing showing against the Miami Dolphins. We have a lot of things to get right on our side, and we're going against such a well-coached Mike Vrabel-led team and Josh McDaniel, who seems to be clicking now on all cylinders with this offense. The one thing I would say about New England is they do start off slow. Can the Falcons capitalize on a slow start by New England? It's just hard to say yes, they can, because after an offensive performance or showing as they did with Miami, I don't know that they can do that to Miami, to New England. And New England is far superior on defense, has a lot of great pieces on that defensive side to just help, just shut down the Falcons. Unfortunately, it sucks to say, but it's a goddamn reality. And if we come out play calling, or the play calling comes out anything like it did against the Miami Dolphins, we are in trouble again. This is another L for the Atlanta Falcons, and the way that we've been playing on the road, it's none too inspiring neither. So I would say Falcons, unfortunately, go to New England in a hostile environment, or at least it's going to be for me, because I'm going to be there. I can only imagine the shit that's going to be said to me, but I'll be ready for it. Give me. Hey, listen, man. Give me 24-13 New England. I'm taking the Patriots on this one, man.
You're going to be seeing a lot of flags, my friends. Okay, that's all.
I'll rip each and every one of them down, stomp on them. I might leave Tom Brady's statue a little gift before I go.
Do me a favor, Berto. Send me a picture of you with the Tom Brady statue, okay? I haven't been able to see it in person yet, and so I want to see it. I also just think it would be ironic.
You might not want the photo that I'll send.
You know what? NFC South Roundtable. How many of you in the comment section below would love to see Berto posing next to the Tom Brady statue at Gillette Stadium? Let us know in the comment section.
I get a resounding yes. I'm a man of my word. I will do so. The picture you may not like, but I will do it.
I think we should make it. I think it should be I think we should make a little wager here.
Kobe, I think wager. Clay, I think you should keep your mouth shut, brother.
I had a really good idea.
You guys let us
I
know
hate
in the
your ideas.
chat.
Matter of fact, you're like the bottom tier of idea makers. Stop it.
That's
We
because
will
my
definitely
ideas
get
are
Berto to do
absolutely
it.
terrible.
Oh shit, man.
Post it here on the community tab. But let's go on over to TJ. TJ, what do you think about this game?
Well, I think that it's going to be a little bit of a bounce back game for the Falcons. I don't think they're going to play as bad
I love you, TJ.
poorly as they did last week. But I just think that Drake May, the light has come on for the young kid, and man, he's so fun to watch, man. I mean, the guy is really living up to his potential, and it's good to see guys develop into what people feel they can be. And also Keyshawn Boutte, I'm kind of biased, being a Louisiana guy, watching him at LSU. It's good to see a guy, just go out there and just make plays. And Stephon Diggs had his first touchdown last week, and it just seems like the New England Patriots are having fun, offensively and defensively. And Mike Vrabel is a really good coach. I think that this game is going to be close. I think that Bijan Robinson will probably find some success. I think if the Falcons can utilize Kyle Pitts in the middle of the field, they'll be able to move the football just a tad bit. I think that it's going to be a back and forth game. I don't think it's going to be an open and shut case as some people may think. I think that the Falcons are going to show some fight. But at the end of the day, I just trust Mike Vrabel as a coach a little bit more than Raheem Morris down the stretch. So it's going to be a fun game to watch. Might be one of those games that everybody may be talking about this weekend because both teams are competitive. But I got to give the edge to the Patriots.
Yeah, somebody in the comment section below said, "Imagine the Patriots win 28-3."
Oh my goodness, yo, let me be quiet. Let me be nice, because man, I could say so much shit right now.
Well, Berto, the chat wants to see you posing next to Tom Brady, and so now you got to do it, man.
All right, man. Hey, listen, man. I got to get there for I think 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna set up a quick little show over there. So
Nice.
yeah, I'm gonna be there early enough, and I will make way to that piece of shit statue that's over there, and to give it my thoughts.
Now,
I
Berto,
my thoughts right there.
Is Michael Penix playing in this game? Is that confirmed?
We don't know. We don't know.
Yet.
We have to.
Okay.
So Raheem does a horrible job of giving vague statements Monday, Tuesday on statuses of any injured players. He always waits till Wednesday, the day that we start actually preparing for our Sunday opponent. So we won't find out anything until tomorrow. Unfortunately, he was good all last week, and by his account. But then all of a sudden we find out that Kirk Cousins took all the major team reps when we were all like, wait a minute, I thought you said Penix did. So we don't know. We won't know until tomorrow.
Very interesting storyline to watch there. Evan, let's go on up to you. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think this is a closer game. I mean, when you look at New England, I think New England is a good football team. But they've won 5 straight. 3 of their last 5 wins, though, have come against the Saints, Titans, and Browns. So, I mean, they're not exactly playing the best competition. But again, a win is a win in the NFL. Patriots defense has played really well, allowed 13 points in each of the last 2 games. So that's a positive there. And I think what this comes down to, though, and why I am picking the Patriots to win this game is Drake May. He's playing at an MVP level right now. New England is hitting on all cylinders, really, on offense and on defense.
MVP, bro.
I think he got. I mean, if he keeps this up, he could find himself. I think right there. Still a lot of football left to be played, but I do think that. So yeah, I mean, look, I think this comes down to that. It's a tough game, obviously on the road. And Atlanta, there's something about when a team gets blown out, especially in the fashion that the Falcons did, they're going to come back. They're going to play hard, right? So I don't expect this to be like a gimme for New England or any type of blowout or whatever. But I do think New England's the better team, and I do unfortunately think that New England is going to hand Atlanta yet another loss.
All right, which means we only got Clay left. Clay, do you also think that the New England Patriots and Drake May, who's top 3 in the MVP race, by the way, Berto, can come away with this win?
This guy, man. I tell you what.
Clay, be nice.
Rage trader, man. The Falcons have scored just 10 points in the last 2 losses. Michael Penix, again, could be returning. Obviously, we don't know. Drake May has 10 touchdowns to 1 interception through New England's 5-game winning streak. Will Bijan Robinson have enough opportunities against the Patriots run defense that allows just 75 rushing yards per game? That is the biggest question, I think, going into this game for the Falcons. I'm taking the Patriots though. But I think this game will be close. I think it'll be like something like 26-21.
26-21.
Dude, if we score 21 points versus New England, dude, I won't know what to make of this Falcons team anymore, dude. We put up 10 against San Francisco. We put up 10 against the Dolphins, but to put up 21 versus New England is crazy work. I wouldn't know how to assess this team going forward. Tremendous Jekyll and Hyde, if that's the case, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, made with over a 90% completion percentage too over their winning streak over the last 5 weeks.
Well, I was going to be a troll and say 28-3, but you know.
Dude, Clay.
There you
Clay
go.
Did it. He did the thing.
You know, Kobe. You know, you are like you've been said. You are the carrying cross of this goddamn hosting world, man.
They're in the fight.
Shit.
Hey man, I gotta get you guys fighting a little bit, right? We gotta have clippable moments for the show to put up here for Roundtable Sports, and we're doing just that, man. We are doing just that.
Shout out our guy Charles, man.
And let's transition into this final game. TJ, your Saints are taking on the Rams. Is there just any way in the world that you guys can come out with this surprising win?
Probably not. But if you was to ask me, would it be a better showing? I think that's the better question, Kobe.
Better showing.
Would it be a better showing from last week to this week? And I believe that it will be. And the main reason is because of Sean McVay's relationship with Brandon Staley. I mean, Brandon Staley has been on the coaching staff of Sean McVay on multiple occasions. Once he was fired from the Chargers, he was on his coaching staff actually before he became the head coach of the Chargers. So I think that experience going up against, Sean McVay's offense in practice during training camps will pay dividends. But I just think that the Rams are just a better football team. I don't know the status of Puka Nacua. I know he missed last week, but I don't think it too much matters. Sean McVay is kind of like, Kyle Shanahan. It doesn't matter what they put out there offensively. They can find a way to utilize it. The New Orleans Saints defensively did a really good job last week. I thought that Chase Young definitely had one of his best games as a member of the New Orleans Saints. It's good to see him, be out there and be active. Kool-Aid McKinstry played really well. I think it was his best game as a corner, number one for the Saints. But I just don't see it, man. I mean, this is Tyler Shuck's first start in the National Football League. And, you're going up against a really good Rams team with a really good pass rush. And the reputation of Tyler Shuck is he gets a little bit of happy feet when he starts to sense that pressure. It's going to be a tough matchup for a young Calvin Banks who has played really well, has been one of the bright spots on the team at left tackle, but he's going up against Jared Verse, and that's going to be tough for him. I mean, if he can come out of there looking pretty credible, I think that we pretty much got our answer about who the cornerstone player is coming out of the draft. But I expect for Kellen Moore to be a little bit more exotic. I think that he's probably going to, call some different type of plays that kind of fit the skill set of Tyler Shuck. I think they may open up the playbook a little bit more because, I mean, to be honest with you, I think the Saints wanted this the entire time. They just couldn't justify it. So I think you're going to see a different type of offense with Tyler Shuck, a lot of trick plays, a lot of deceptive things. I mean, what do you have to lose at this point? You're 1-7, but the Rams are going to win because they're just a better football team.
Absolutely. Evan, let's go on up to you. What do you think about this game? And do you think that it is possible for the Saints to at least keep this game close?
I do think it's possible for them to keep it close. I mean, it's a tough matchup, right? For Tyler Shuck, first career start on the road against a really good defense. Rams are coming off their bye, so they're going to be well rested. They have allowed 10 points over the last 2 games total. So this is a Rams defense that's playing really good football right now, and this is a Saints offense that's just not that good. Now, I do think the reason why this could be a little bit closer is I do like what the New Orleans defense brings. They play hard. Mentioned Chase Young. I thought Chase Young played fantastic, really gave Tristan Wirfs a lot of issues on Sunday, and that's rare for a guy like Tristan Wirfs to have that many issues against one particular guy. But Chase Young played really well, and I thought the New Orleans defense really kept him in there, right? Forced the Bucs to kick a couple of field goals. Obviously, we talked about at the 1 yard line thing, the goal line stand. So I think the New Orleans defense can keep this game a little bit close. Ultimately, though, the Rams are the better team, and I do think the Rams are going to win this game. And I just don't think the Saints are going to be able to score enough points.
Definitely fair. Clay, let's go on over to you. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, this Rams team is a Super Bowl caliber team when Puka Nacua is on the field, but they're also the best team in the NFL in sacks. I think they lead the league in sacks, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, they've lost their last 3 games by an average of 12.7 points per game, at least for the New Orleans Saints. But yeah, LA has the 26 total sacks on the year on their pass rush. So, and it's led by Byron Young with 9 of them. So again, the Rams have only allowed less than 10 points in 3 games this season. It's hard for me to pick, obviously pick the Saints. I'm definitely going with the Rams. I think the Saints, again, they are in rebuild mode, and they're not going to shock anybody at this point, but at least down this stretch right now, I see this game being something like 30-13.
30-13. And let's go down to you, Berto. Are you also going to make this 4 out of 4 for the Rams?
Listen, yeah, I'm going to ultimately pick the Rams, but is there a glimmer of hope that the Saints come out the way that they played the Buffalo Bills a couple weeks ago? I'd say yes. Brandon Staley has these guys flying around the football. They have them playing some pretty decent defense. It's just the offense can't complement what the defense has done thus far. Tyler Shuck does, resume now as the new starter going forward, but man, to start against the Rams is tough, man. No team in the NFL, in my opinion, utilizes stunts and more creative ways to get sacks than the Rams. Chris Shula and company over there, man, they do a phenomenal job just creating havoc. And it's gonna be too much, I think, for Shuck in his first NFL debut or his first NFL start. I think the Saints unfortunately struggle in the middle of this defense, the interior offensive line, in the interior, and I think that's exactly where the most of the rush is going to come. Talise Fuaga and I think Calvin Banks could probably hold for a few against these rushers, but ultimately, man, I think it's just going to be too much. It's going to be an overwhelming feat for the New Orleans Saints to come out against the Rams. So give me the Rams. I don't want to call it a blowout, man. I can call it somewhere between like 37-24 or something like that, man.
Man, all the Rams are going to do is they're going to put Jared Verse on the inside against Trevor Penny, because they do that a lot. They play him on the outside, and if they feel like there's a matchup on the inside, I mean, this dude going to be eating all day, man. I mean, it's going to be tough for the Saints.
It is, man. Unfortunately, the Rams do such a great job just utilizing their pieces and just moving them around just to create these one-on-one mismatches for their defense. So it's going to be tough, man. But whatever comes out of this, man, can it be maybe some sort of a confident booster for Tyler Shuck going forward? Because going up against this style of defense, if he can put up game managing numbers, and I think that's something to look at. I mean, when he came in this past weekend, he didn't do anything that stuck out, so what can he learn from that game to put into play for this one? This coaching staff has to figure it out, or at least Kellen Moore has to. Got to utilize these wide receivers a little bit better. If the Rams are susceptible in anything, it's in the middle of their defense and their linebackers. Nate Landman, who I know all too well as a former Falcon linebacker, can't cover worth a shit, dude. And if you exploit him early and often, I don't know, maybe this is something the Rams can just start doing early and often to help this defense come away from certain looks. So who knows, man? Anything can happen, right? It's the NFL, like we all say.
Well, look, guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's show. I want to get into the final super chats here. Tasman with the $2 donation says, sad teams we lose, good teams we win. Crazy work. And then, of course, shout out to Brandon for the $2 donation. Guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's show. As always, we appreciate you guys so much for watching. Remember to leave a big like on the way out. Let's try to get that like button of 200 likes. Subscribe to the NFC South Roundtable and subscribe to all of these guys' individual channels. Links in the description box below. But until next Tuesday, same time, same place, we appreciate you guys for watching.
Roundtable Sports Network is your one-stop shop for all things NFL, with daily live shows covering all 8 divisions in the league, hosted by the best content creators on the web, all on one network. Catch the AFC East live every Monday at 7 p.m. and on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. The AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. The AFC North Roundtable live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. The AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. The NFC East Roundtable live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. The NFC West Roundtable, live at 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. The NFC North Roundtable is at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, and the NFC South Roundtable is live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. EST. And of course, fourth and forever, the flagship show of Roundtable Sports Network, covering all things NFL at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Roundtable Sports YouTube channel. Real coverage, real fans.